My client target is to improve his overall fitness levels as he had results that were below average. He was mainly concerned and wanted to focus on his cardiovascular endurance, muscular endurance and muscular strength. Cardiovascular endurance and muscular endurance are long-term goals as they will require the 6 weeks to improve them. However, strength is a short-term goal as we should see signs of improvement within the next 3 to 4 weeks. By using the FIT principles, frequency, intensity, time and type, his realistic goals will be tracked and can be measured. By repeating the same exercises at times through the program, the client can see high improvements when he repeats the exercise, and this will give him encouragement and motivate him to continue to work hard towards his goals. Client 2 Exercise Program Week 1. On Monday, we will start off with a warm-up. We will have 4 cones on the floor in a square position. Each cone will be a different colour. I will shout out a colour and my client will have to run to that colour cone. To start off, my client will have to get to the cone in 10 seconds. To progress the level of training, we will increase the intensity for the next go. My client will have to try to touch the cone in 8 seconds, then in 6 seconds, and finally they will have to try to get to the cone in 4 seconds. This will include a target and is game-like, so helps to motivate the client to achieve the targets and also will allow him to measure improvements during the 6-week program. On Monday, we will start with cardiovascular endurance. This will be in the form of high-intensity interval training of cycling for 10 minutes, 3 times with a 5-minute rest in between each 10 minutes of cycling. The 10 minutes will be achievable and can be adjusted by lowering the bike's resistance to ensure the client can complete the 30 minutes with rest periods. It is a good starting point with continuous exercise, but with the rest periods to help his heart to train at a moderate level and acclimatize to the increased level of training. It will also help with muscular endurance as well as CV endurance. The length of time for CV endurance is this first session is 30 minutes. On Tuesday, for the warm-up, I will get my client to static stretch and PNF stretching, which will be targeting the muscles that we will be working on. This would be followed up by doing weight training. The first will be 3 sets of 8 reps, doing concentrated bicep curls using 10 kilogram weights. Then using the bench, my client will start doing tricep dips, which he will do 3 sets of 10 reps with a 45-second break in between each set. Next, my client will do weighted squats. To start off with, the weights will be 10 kilogram weight. This may increase or decrease depending on how heavy that it is for my client, and he would do 3 sets of 10 reps. Finally, my client will do deadlifts. The weight will be 30 kilogram bar, but again, this might decrease or increase depending on the client. We will do this 3 sets and 8 reps. This will improve my client's strength, which is what he wanted to improve, and it will also improve his overall fitness levels and self-esteem. On Wednesday, we will be working on flexibility. This will be started off by doing light static and dynamic stretches, which will consist of shoulder stretch, tricep stretch, hamstring stretch, and for dynamic, it will consist of leg swings, lunges, high knees, and ankle sweeps. Then we will move on to PNF stretching. This will be stretching the shoulders. The first shoulder stretch we will do is the client will start by standing in a neutral position. He will reach right across his body to his left side. When you're going to stretch it back out to your right side and have your palm facing you. You will do this 3 sets of 15 reps of this stretch, then change hand so that you stretch the other shoulder. The next one my client will make a fist with right hand and put it across your shoulder. Then drag it down from your left shoulder to your right side whilst opening the hand. You will do this 3 sets of 15 reps, then switch hands. This will help to lengthen your muscles, which will improve your flexibility and range of movement, meaning it will be easier to do more workout routines in the future and to do them correctly. It will also reduce the risk of injury as the muscles are under less strain when working out. They are less likely to overcompensate for contracted muscles. Thursday is recovery day. This is important to allow your muscle fiber time to rebuild and strengthen. It also prevents overtraining, which will put undue stress on the body and lead to more potential for injuries. On Friday, we will work on muscular endurance. The warm-up will be a jumping activity. I will get my client to jump over a line, firstly with 2 feet going back and forwards, then with 2 feet going side to side. Then progress on to client jumping with 1 foot going forward and back, and finally 1 foot going side to side. Firstly, I will make my client row for 10 minutes with a 5-minute recovery time, which will be done 3 times. Total muscular endurance time 30 minutes. This equals the muscular endurance workout on Monday, but a different type of activity. Using FIT principles, we will build my client's muscular endurance, which is one of his weakness components of fitness. It is important to improve muscular endurance as it will increase your stamina and allow you to feel as though you have more energy for repetitive tasks. It will limit injury from physical exertion and from overuse of muscles. Saturday exercise is a 5-a-side football class. This is a social way to exercise with others, which is a fun and motivating way of adding cardiovascular training into the program. It will encourage the client to do more activities like this in the spare time. Sunday is another recovery day, again to improvement to rest the body and allow muscles to repair and strengthen. Client 2 exercise on week 2. On Monday, we will start by doing some light dynamic and static stretches from one cone to the other, about 30 meters apart. Next, we will jog 15 meters, then sprint the next 15 meters to the cone, and the same coming back. Repeat this 3 times. On the second week, for cardiovascular endurance, by doing epically training for 12 minutes, which will be done 3 times with a 5-minute break in between for recovery. This has progressed from last week 1 by increasing the duration of the total of 36 minutes of cardio work. This will strengthen the CV endurance and gradually decrease the risk of chronic health diseases such as type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure. The client wanted to improve CV endurance as one of his aims. On Tuesday, we will be working on muscular strength by first doing a light warm-up of doing 3 sets of 8 reps push-ups and sit-ups. This will be followed by doing weight training. The first will be 3 sets of 10 reps doing push-ups with 5 kilogram weight on the back. Increasing the weights will increase the resistance and the intensity of the exercise, enabling the client to improve his target of increased strength. Then, using the bench, my client will do tricep curls. This will be 4 sets of 10 reps and the weight will stay at 10 kilograms. Because there is an increase in time, increasing the reps of 10 and doing an extra set. Then my client will do plyometric training to improve the strength in his legs. We will do this by doing hurdles a course of 5 hurdles and a box jump at the end. Repeat this 3 times. This introduces variety in the muscular strength training to motivate the client and keep him interested in the exercise. Finally, my client will do deadlifts with 30 kilogram bar. Again, the weights will stay the same from week 1, but the reps have increased. This is to increase the demand of the exercise on the client's strength, but also keeps the targets realistic. This will improve my client's motivation and self-esteem. On Wednesday, we will be working on flexibility. This will be started by doing light static and dynamic stretches, which will consist of shoulder stretch, tricep stretch, hamstring stretch, and for the dynamic, it will consist of leg swings, lunges, high knees, and ankle sweeps. Then we move on to PNF stretching. Today we will be doing PNF stretching for the arms. For the first PNF stretch, I'll get my client to lie on the mat and I'll ask him to have his right arm in an extension position with a slight bend at the elbow, and I will hold his wrist. Then I will tell him to try and extend his arm fully whilst I'm still putting resistance on it. I will count for 10 seconds, then tell him to relax. Then I'll extend it slightly more and ask him to try and fully extend his arm. He will hold this for 10 seconds, then he will do the same one more time. After that, I will do the same on the other left side. Then next, I will ask my client to have his right arm in a 45-degree angle. Then I will grab hold of his wrist and ask him to push out whilst I'm putting resistance on it. I'll then count for 10 seconds and push a little bit further. Then ask him to try and extend his arm whilst I'm pushing a resistance, and we will do this the same again one more time. After we have done on the right side, I will switch to the left and do the same thing. This will improve the range of movement, meaning he will be able to do more activities. On Friday, for muscular endurance, the warm-up will be the client jumping over a line, firstly with 2 feet going back and forwards, then with 2 feet going side to side, then 1 foot going forward and back, and finally 1 foot going side to side. Next, I will get my client to do continuous circuit training. The first thing we would be doing in the circuit is 2-minute plank with a 40-second break in between. Then we will move on to 1 minute of squats, during which my client will aim to do 50 squats. Then we will have another 40-second rest before working on the battle ropes for 1 minute with another 40-second rest. Finally, he will do press-ups for 1 minute, aiming to do 40 in a minute. However, the rest will decrease by 5 seconds each time he does the circuit, which will be repeated 3 times. This progression will increase the intensity of the exercise and improve his muscular endurance, and also improve his overall strength, which will give him motivation to continue doing